Now at 9, Joplin police released the results of a preliminary autopsy of 2 people found dead in a home last week. Plus, how the city of Knoll, Missouri plans to spend $250,000 grants from the state.
Multiple people are killed, including 3 children at a private elementary school in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm Jonathan Sari. I'll have full details coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Amber Jenkins. Authorities released a preliminary autopsy report on 2 people found dead in a Joplin home last week. The man and woman were found in a home at 1403 Broadway Thursday. The report indicates that both 24-year-old Savannah Bell and 44-year-old Jason Schoffer died of gunshots. They both lived in the home. Police received a request for a wellness check at the home on Thursday. Officers forced their way into the home and found the 2 bodies. Police say the investigation continues and that they'll release more information as it becomes available. But they said there's no threat to the public. The family of a 2-year-old shot and killed by a Joplin police officer in Kansas hostage incident files a civil rights lawsuit. The hostage situation happened last year in March and claimed the lives of 2 adults and a child in Baxter Springs, Kansas. The lawsuit filed by Carla Crawford, 2-year-old Cheslin Crawford's parental grandparent, sues the city of Joplin, Baxter Springs, Cherokee County, and Sniper One. The lawsuit states the defendants violated the girl's fundamental rights to be free from unreasonable seizure, amongst other rights. The lawsuit also includes a wrongful death claim. To learn more about the lawsuit and the order of events, download the KOAM News Now app. A fired Pineville, Missouri deputy marshal is suing the city, staff, and marshal office for civil conspiracy and violation of due process. Jessica Delaney filed the lawsuit. According to the lawsuit, Delaney was the subject of an investigation by the marshal's office and city. Delaney claims she was never informed of the investigation and was never given a full due process hearing. She wants to be reinstated to her position as deputy city marshal, lost wages, back pay, and other compensation. You can read more about the lawsuit on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us with the first look at weather.
Well, it turned out to be a nice Monday for us today. Temperatures are pretty good. Most of us went into the upper 50s to near 60 degrees, 56 officially in Joplin. Normal high 64, so we were still a little bit shy, and it is going to be chilly as we go through the overnight hours. Tonight we've had some clouds increasing. A weak little wave out across central Kansas. This is going to push in late tonight into tomorrow morning. We are going to get a few showers, especially along the north of I-44. Maybe even a few flakes of snow trying to mix in, not a big deal. We're dropping back upper 40s now, 49 Nevada, 48 in Neosho, 45 in Miami, 49 in Parsons. We will continue to slide back into the 30s, eventually down to about 36 later on tonight. We do have some changes. It's going to be chilly tomorrow. We're going to start to warm things back up by Wednesday. We have thunderstorms by Friday. We're going to break it all down for you here in a bit.
The city of Knoll, Missouri will now be able to renovate some damaged buildings. The state of Missouri announced the recipients of its American Rescue Plan Act's grants. Knoll gets $250,000. City officials say that money will go towards fixing up downtown buildings that were damaged by a fire and now under city control.
The buildings are sound, they're just a mess. You know, the walls, the structure, the foundation, all workable. It's just, you know, the roofs had collapsed in some cases. The interiors were a mess because obviously weather had gotten in there once the roofs collapsed and things like that. So the bones were good. It's just the meat on the bones needed a lot of work.
The McDonald County Chamber of Commerce helped the city apply for the grant. If you're in Fort Scott, Kansas, you might have noticed a smell. The city of Fort Scott held a special city hall meeting to address the unpleasant smell coming from ADM, a manufacturer. Although ADM is located in Deerfield, Missouri, the waste from the factory is stored in a lagoon. The sludge from the lagoon caused a smell that the residents of Fort Scott are hoping to have resolved.
The lagoon storage that we have on site is enough storage for 200 to 250 days worth of water, so it spends a lot of time out there slowly breaking down any of the components that are in the wastewater, and then that process continues as it's hauled over to the city of Fort Scotts.
ADM and the city of Fort Scott says they are willing to negotiate a win-win solution for both parties. A member of the U.S. Senate from Kansas, Jerry Moran's staff today paid a visit to Chanute. The staff member hosts a U.S. Service Academy information session with students and their parents. A part of Senator Moran's duties include appointing Kansans to the 4 U.S. military academies. Today's information session was the chance for those interested to learn more about the application process and the nomination process. The Kansas Supreme Court today signaled that it still considers full access to abortion is a fundamental right under the state constitution. An attorney for the state argued that a decisive statewide vote last year affirming abortion rights doesn't matter. 5 of the 6 justices present for the arguments were skeptic. The court is considering exactly how far the Republican-controlled legislature can go in restricting abortion under a 2019 decision protecting abortion rights. The justices heard arguments today but aren't likely to rule for months. The U.S. Supreme Court has declined to hear a case involving Kansas that reached their bench. The justices will keep a newly redrawn congressional map of Kansas in place. They declined to hear a request from voters who say the new districts in Kansas allow for racial gerrymandering. Multiple people killed in a shooting at a private Christian grade school in Nashville, Tennessee. Police say the shooter was a woman who was shot and killed by police inside the school. Fox News correspondent Jonathan Siri has the latest on the story.
She entered the school through a side entrance and traversed her way from the first floor to the second floor, firing multiple shots.
A 28-year-old woman opens fire inside a private Christian elementary school in Nashville, killing 3 children and 3 staff members before being shot and killed by police. It happened Monday morning at the Covenant School, a Presbyterian school of some 200 students ranging from preschool to 6th grade. According to police, the first report of shots fired came in around 10:13 a.m. Minutes later, a team of officers responded and began clearing the building.
When the officers got to the second level, they saw a shooter, a female, who was firing. The officers engaged her. She was fatally shot by responding police officers.
5 of the victims, 3 children and 2 adults, were rushed to the hospital and were later pronounced dead. Nashville police say no one else was hurt. And while it's still unclear how the woman is connected to the school, police say she was heavily armed with 2 assault rifles and a handgun. Monday afternoon, President Biden sent his condolences to the families impacted and also called on Congress to do more to stop gun violence.
It's heartbreaking, a family's worst nightmare. We have to do more to stop gun violence. It's ripping our communities apart, ripping the soul of this nation.
Police say they're now investigating a motive and reviewing surveillance video from the school. In Atlanta, Jonathan Siri, Fox News.
Later in sports, it's opening day for Frontenac High School baseball team. We'll have the highlights from their matchup with Nevada. For the 32nd year, several people in Seattle climbed Columbia Center for a noble cause. Fox Nikki Torres has more.
You may remember we were here at the Columbia Center 2 weeks ago to cover the firefighter climb. That is when more than 2,000 firefighters took part in the big climb. And in that event, they raised more than $2.1 million. The big climb here today was for the general public. About 1,300 climbers took part in this event, and their goal is to make $1.5 million, and that will go towards the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
We're just avid gym goers, and we like to apply our fitness in a variety of ways, and this one has a good cause.
More than 400 teams participated in this year's big climb. Some teams have as little as 3 people, some as large as 40 people. The goal is to raise $1.5 million at this year's event. In 2018, the big climb raised more than $3 million, which was record-breaking for the event.
I do it because I've done it in the past, but recently it's had a little bit more purpose. I know a lot of people in my circle, friends and family, that have been affected by leukemia and lymphoma. So this year meant a little bit more for me.
To get to the top of Columbia Center, climbers have to make it up almost 70 flights of stairs, more than 1,300 steps, and almost 800 feet of elevation. For this event, you can do it individually as a race climb or just take it casually. I was told that last year the fastest climber did this race in 7.5 minutes. Now, if you're just walking it casually, it takes around 35 minutes to get from here to the top.
Working out might be hard, but getting into some gyms may now be even harder. Exclusive gyms, referred to as social wellness clubs, are popping up across the nation, according to a New York Times report. Potential members have either be referred, submit an application, or go through interviews before they can be approved. Fitness clubs like Remedy Place have membership monthly costs that range from almost $600 to $2,800. Studios like Former Place generally aim to have like-minded people. Typical members may consist of executives, athletes, and celebrities. Older Americans who use cannabis to treat some illnesses may actually lead to other health issues. A report from the Wall Street Journal says there's an increased use of cannabis among middle-aged and seniors for pain, sleep, and anxiety, and it's a risk factor for other problems such as falls, injuries, and confusion. Emergency room visits for those over 65 increased more than 20% in 2019. Seniors using cannabis for medical reasons may also be on multiple prescription drugs. Marijuana can interfere with that. Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later, we'll take a look at why Americans are less likely to tip this year compared to other years.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a nice one for us today. Temperatures pretty good, mid to upper 50s to near 60 across the region. We do have some clouds out there right now, so we'll call it partly cloudy skies. Nice shot, Indigo Sky. Casino and Resort, of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. We do have a weak little wave that is rotating through tonight, so clouds will start to increase a bit across the region. 48 in Lamar, 45 Monette, 52 at Grand, 45 in Miami, 49 in Pittsburgh, Parsons, much of the same. Most of us are going to drop back mid-30s a little bit later on tonight. Currently outside, sitting at 48, and north wind is light, humidity is at 54%. We don't have a lot of moisture here at the surface, so we'll have to get some showers in here to kind of saturate that atmosphere just a little bit. But we will eventually go back into the mid-30s, back to 42 by 10 a.m. And you can see we do have some clouds. We have some light little showers out there. All this is not reaching the ground. You have to go out across central Kansas before it does. You can see some rain, even some snow up across northern parts of Kansas. Very weak system. But as this back end kind of drops through 4 or 5 hours, we are going to get a few showers and maybe a few flakes mixing in. Again, not a very big deal. Let's go through time. Clouds thicken up tonight. Here's 3 o'clock in the morning. You can see some showers popping up Yates Center, Iola, Chanute to about Fredonia. That little batch drives east. Few hit and miss showers, mainly north of I-44. A little bit of snow trying to mix in. And then it looks like by 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, most of this is gone. By noon, partly sunny skies, back into the mid-40s. But it's going to be cooler tomorrow. We're going to have sunshine, but we're only going to go into lower 50s for highs. 53 in Nevada, 55 Bella Vista, 53 in Welch, Chanute, about 53 degrees. Tomorrow night it gets cold. We drop all the way down right around freezing, so we're going to have some frost and freezes, especially in our northern counties. Then our southerly winds start to pick up, and that helps our temperatures warm up back into the 60s on Wednesday. We'll get into the 70s once again a little bit later on in the work week. All right, day planner for you, 7 a.m., 39, 44. By 11, we get into lower 50s. We just don't climb through the 50s very much. And then as we head into Thursday, here comes our next storm system. We're going to have a severe threat out to our west, and it's going to drive east Thursday night into Friday. So we are going to have at least a low risk. Friday afternoon, it looks like a higher risk just to our east. We'll talk a little more about that in our second half hour. All right, 52 tomorrow, 62 Wednesday, 68 on Thursday. Thunderstorms Thursday night into Friday. High temp right around 75. Cooling down but clearing out just in time for the weekend.
I mean, it's looking pretty good. I have to say I'm excited to see the 70s and 60s, but I'm not excited with them storms. So.
I know, it's a give or take.
It's the 4 states for you.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Coming up, what about the USDA is saying about a new TikTok trend about washing ground beef before cooking it? Americans feeling less and less generous as more and more quick service restaurants like coffee shops and fast food places are giving customers the option to tip. Fewer and fewer Americans are coughing up the cash. Chris Nigan explains what's driving the backlash.
18% gratuity is already included in the bill. Girl, it's water.
Across social media, a backlash to the growing number of quick service restaurants like Starbucks and Panera asking customers to tip. It's up 11% from pre-COVID levels, according to data from Toast, a restaurant management software company.
You had a tip at the bottom? A tip? For what?
That's a little too crazy for me, and I refuse.
The average tipping percentage at these places is down, dropping to just below 16%. Professor Depayan Biswas has studied tipping for a decade. He says this new tipping trend started with the boom of digital kiosks.
That's when these businesses realized they can put in a tipping option and earn a lot of money. If you're adding 10%, 20%, that's a huge jump in revenue for a lot of these businesses. And the digital interface facilitated that.
He's concerned the backlash could spread to other services.
That's my biggest worry, that it might actually affect the industry where it really matters the most, the full service restaurants where the servers don't even make minimum wage.
The end of food stamps could mean trouble for food businesses as well as families. A report says federal help through the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, also known as SNAP, is ending in most states. Currently, about 41 American families are receiving help through SNAP. Now, low-income families will have about $95 less a month for groceries. That could create income trouble for grocery chains that participate. A new TikTok cooking trend is sounding up alarms for the food safety experts. Some home chefs posting videos on the platform have been washing their ground beef before cooking it, claiming that it kills bacteria. Footage of one user rinsing beef in a colander has garnered more than 3 million views. However, the USDA is recommending against it, saying washing beef and poultry doesn't destroy bacteria, but instead it spreads it. The CDC also backing up the USDA claims. Experts say the best way to kill off bacteria in ground beef is to cook it with an internal temperature of 160 degrees Fahrenheit. A new generation may be the new kings of travel. A report says millennials are now turning 40. They are also traveling at higher rates than baby boomers, Gen Xers, and Gen Zers. A Morning Consult analysis says 18% of millennials have flown 3 times domestically in the last year. That's more than 10% of Gen Xers and 6% of baby boomers. While millennials delay other life issues like home buying and marriage, they see traveling as a right, but they don't spend excessively on travel. Up next, Rafi the demon dog is being moved to another foster home. We'll take a look at what he's done this time. The infamous so-called fire-breathing demon dog is getting a 4th chance at a forever home. Ralphie is the 1-year-old, 26-pound French bulldog described by a New York shelter as a terror in a somewhat small package. The Niagara SPCA says it finally found a perfect adopter for him after he was returned 3 times. Hopefully, Ralphie's new owner, Jason, can handle the pup. Jason trains dogs for the Department of Energy in Tennessee. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Protests in a southwest Missouri town over a policy regarding stray dogs at the pound. Plus, Pitt State celebrates an old tradition and begins a new one. Dozens of pet-loving protesters gathered tonight in a southwest Missouri town of Bolivar. People are upset about the city policy saying strays at the Bolivar pound for more than 60 days should be put down. Reporter Michael Hoffman has that story.
We'd like to try to understand where they're coming from. It could be a monetary, a financial responsibility to the city. It could be any number of things. It could just be lack of education on the quality of life of animals that are in pounds and shelters, because there's a huge misconception that these animals are miserable.
These people in Polk County are upset about what they thought was a new policy. It says after 60 days at the Bolivar pound, animals can be euthanized. But the police chief says
it hasn't changed. It's just been published.
Chief Webb says not only has this been the policy for the 10 years the police have been in charge of the Bolivar pound, he says there is misconceptions about what the policy actually means.
It's not like it's set in stone where you're going to go 60 days and 1 minute, we're going to euthanize. No, we'll reevaluate at 60 days. We'll wait, and again, hopefully someone will come up.
He says the evaluation comes by a vet or trained professional looking for signs of sickness. If they find the dog to be aggressive or sick, that's when euthanasia comes into the conversation.
I can't speak for the town of Bolivar, but I do know many of the citizens are outraged, especially because this was not brought before the city council as a vote. And I believe they would just like to have a say in the matter regarding the health of these animals.
The folks at the Humane Society say they want people to be informed, but courteous.
I think the most important thing is just let your voice be heard, and let's keep it as civil as possible, because we're all here for the animals. That is our goal as Polk County Humane Society. Our staff, the animal control officers in Bolivar are fantastic, and we want to be able to support each other. We just want to make sure that the citizens are aware of what's going on.
Protesters showed up to a forum where city-town council candidates got a chance to answer voters' questions ahead of next week's election. This is Gorilla Giving Day, what could become a new tradition for Pitt State. It's a twist on the school's annual Apple Day celebration. Students and staff launched Giving Day as a chance for alumni to come together and support the university through a fundraising event.
The main thing that we are focused on today is the students of Pittsburgh State University. They're really who is most important to us. They're the lifeblood of that institution. We always want to do right by them. So I would think that it's safe to say that the funds today, in one way or another, are going to help students at Pittsburgh State.
The Gorilla Giving Day fundraiser was hosted at Brick and Mortar Social House. And as a part of the fundraising events, Brick and Mortar hosted some celebrity bartenders. A limited menu and drinks were available to people, including non-alcoholic options. All proceeds at the event will be donated towards Pitt State's Gorilla Giving Day efforts. More than 300 Taylor Swift fans are suing Ticketmaster and Live Nation. They're unhappy with the company's holding of tickets for Taylor Swift's new tour. Fox News senior national correspondent William LaJuncy has the latest.
About 250 Taylor Swift fans are suing Ticketmaster alleging fraud and price fixing, and they want a judge to break up the company. And this is not just about the Taylor Swift concert tour currently, where she's getting $400 to $500 for upper deck seats and $3,000 for the floor, but all concerts and sporting events handled by Ticketmaster and its parent company, Live Nation. Monday in federal court, they called Ticketmaster a price gouging monopoly that doesn't do enough to stop bots and scalpers from scooping up all the tickets.
I'm tired of the fees. I'm tired of not knowing what I'm paying for. I'm tired of only having one choice for tickets.
I'm here because I want to see change. I think that the business model that Ticketmaster Live Nation has is not working. It's harmful to consumers.
Now, in January, the company apologized for its handling of the Swift concert tickets, claiming a cyber attack shut down their system.
We apologize to the fans. We apologize to Ms. Swift. We need to do better, and we will do better.
A lawyer for the plaintiffs says that victims who failed to get tickets want compensation and Ticketmaster broken up.
Our clients want to be compensated for what they went through, and also to have the whole process change, because what they went through, no one should have to go through.
It's true Ticketmaster has acquired several competitors and has exclusive deals with the best stadiums and arenas who get a cut of the fees. So bands have little choice in who handles their concert. Now, Monday's hearing was mostly about scheduling, but this case could go on for several years. In Los Angeles, William Lajeunesse, Fox News.
A bit later, why TikTok is gaining more backlash after taking down ads directed at teenagers against drug use.
Well, of course, it turned out to be a nice Monday for us today. We had quite a bit of sunshine across the region. Temperatures pretty good as we did go into the mid to upper 50s for highs. We're cooling down now, most of us into the 40s. Cassville 46, 47 in Carthage, still 50 in Iola, 46 Chautauqua. Veneta is sitting at about 50 degrees when we go outside, 7th and Rangeline, currently sitting at 48. Northerly winds are light. Humidity is not that bad. Relative humidity at about 54%. So through the night, we slide back through the 40s, eventually into the mid to upper 30s. So it gets kind of cold. We're back to 42 with some sunshine during the morning hours for us tomorrow. But we do have a weak little wave that is shifting through right now. You can actually see a few little showers popping up on the radar. None of that is reaching the ground, but it is reaching the ground once you get out across central Kansas, down just to the west of Wichita. And again, this is very weak. A little bit of snow is mixing in. This is going to slide in and through the region late tonight, after midnight, into the morning hours. That's going to give us a few random showers and maybe even mixed in with a flake or two of snow. All right, let's go through time. We're going to stop 3 a.m. near 40. The clouds, few random showers popping up in our northwestern counties. As we continue into the morning here, 6 a.m., a few showers in Nevada, Lamar, even down toward Carthage, Pittsburgh, a couple little flakes trying to mix in southeastern Kansas. Not a big deal. This is going to mainly be out of here by 8 or 9 in the morning. By the noon hour, mid 40s, we get some sunshine popping out. And then once we get into the afternoon, it's going to be chilly, but it's not going to be bad. 53 in Carthage, 55 in Miami, Parsons up to about 53 degrees. Tomorrow night's going to be cold. Most of us drop back right around freezing, 32, 33 degree-ish. So we're going to have at least a minor freeze. And then we get southerly winds by Wednesday, and this helps us warm up as we go into lower 60s for highs by the time we head into Wednesday afternoon. So here's your day planner tomorrow, 7 a.m. 39, 11 a.m. 44, getting more sunshine, 52 by 5 p.m. We can look down the road. Our next system on Thursday, I think Thursday is going to be dry for us, but there's going to be at least a low severe threat out to our west. This will try to push in Thursday night, so we'll have a low severe threat. It's not a screaming high threat by any means. And then it does get a little bit higher once it passes by on Friday, a bigger severe threat out across central Missouri down through central Arkansas. So we want to keep our eyes on that. But again, I think Thursday is going to be dry, but we'll start to get some thunderstorms in here Thursday night into Friday morning. So that's our next storm system we really need to keep our eyes on. 52 tomorrow, 62 on Wednesday, 68 Thursday, 75 on Friday. Clearing out, but the weekend looks pretty good. Thunderstorm chances again on Monday and Tuesday of next week.
Well, I am very excited for Saturday. It's looking pretty smooth.
Yeah, it looks great.
Pretty smooth. Nice park day.
Not bad at all.
Coming up in sports, Player of the Week honors for a Missouri Southern softball player. Plus, Fontenot Raiders open the baseball season at home against Nevada. Jacob Leonard has that and more.
Today is opening day for the Frontenac High School baseball team. The Raiders play at home to open their schedule, hosting an interstate matchup against Nevada. And the Tigers, 2-1 in their first 3 games of the season. Started in the top of the first, Mario Mangini on the mound for the Raiders. It's the strikeout looking there. Then later in the inning, Nevada with a runner on. Alex Williams comes up firing, catches him trying to steal. Game scoreless going to the bottom of the first. Frontenac runners on the corners here. Mario Mangini draws the throw to second. He gets away. That allows Logan Myers to come in from third. Frontenac gets the first run of the ball game. The same score, top of the third. Case Sanderson comes through for Nevada. Sends it back up the middle. Runner scores from second. Sanderson into second. He would score on a passed ball later to give Nevada the lead. But Frontenac answers right back. Lane Sullivan looking to steal third. Throw gets by and into left field. Sullivan scores. Frontenac wins a good one in their opener today, 4-2. Missouri Southern's Abby DeSanto has been named the MIAA Softball Hitter of the Week. The sophomore infielder had a monster game on Saturday against MIAA rival Northeastern State. Now in Game 2 of the Lions doubleheader against the Riverhawks, DeSanto went 3 for 3 with 3 home runs and 7 RBIs. Her 3 home runs ties a single-game program record. Her 7 RBIs is the second most in Southern history. Now DeSanto and the Lions will be back in action on Friday on the road against Nebraska Kearney. Now in the major leagues tonight, spring training action between the Cardinals and Nationals. Paul Goldschmidt lifts one the other way. Not a hit here, but he does get the RBI on the sacrifice fly. Goldschmidt finishes 0 for 2 today. Tied at 1 in the 4th, Nolan Gorman lifts this one deep. Clears the wall for the solo homer. His 4th of the spring puts the Cardinals out in front. Now from there, Jordan Montgomery settles in on the mound. Montgomery goes 5 innings, strikes out 4, allows just 1 run. Cardinals roll by Baltimore today 8-2. Kansas City Royals also on the field in spring training action tonight. They face the Texas Rangers, and that game actually still going. They're tied at 4 in the top of the 9th. Michael Massey and Hunter Dozier each have a home run for Kansas City. The Royals, by the way, will open up the regular season on Thursday at home against the Twins. Baltimore Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson announces today he's asked to be traded from Baltimore. Jackson said he asked to be traded back on March 2nd because the team, quote, has not been interested in meeting my value, end quote. The 26-year-old was the NFL MVP and a first-team All-Pro in 2019. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler and has spent the first 5 years of his pro career with the Ravens. That's a look at sports. We'll be back with more news after this.
West Virginia Democratic Senator Joe Manchin says he had enough when it comes to TikTok. He says he is ready to ban the social media site after it took down postings against fentanyl use aimed at teenagers. Fox News congressional correspondent Aisha Hasni tells us where things stand tonight.
Enough is enough. They're not going to change.
More outrage tonight over TikTok after the platform removed drug prevention ads discouraging teens in West Virginia from fentanyl.
That's considered a fatal dose.
The state has the worst rate of overdose deaths in the entire country, which is why the Student Power substance abuse program called Game Changers paid thousands of dollars to flood TikTok with the One Pill Can Kill campaign created in collaboration with the DEA.
No one's forcing you to do it, but it's fitting in.
But the group says TikTok pulled the ads for violating the platform's policy because they showed drugs.
Maybe they haven't seen a child lying in a morgue where a parent has to come and identify them. This is real. It's killing our communities.
Tonight, TikTok is responding, telling Fox it does allow anti-drug awareness ads, but organizations must work with a TikTok representative to help ensure the organization is a legitimate non-government organization. The situation ironic, considering it took TikTok more than 40 days and a congressional hearing to remove a video threatening to kill lawmakers. It's the last straw for Senator Joe Manchin. He's among a growing number of lawmakers who support a Senate bill that would give the administration tools to ban foreign tech, like TikTok, nationwide.
Do you think that Leader Schumer should bring that to the floor?
I think that has the best bipartisan support. And what's your purpose of being here? What good are you doing to our society? I'll guarantee you this doesn't happen in China. I'll guarantee that.
House Speaker Kevin McCarthy doubling down Sunday on bringing similar legislation to the House floor, although no timeline on when that might happen. On Capitol Hill, I'm Aisha Hasni, Fox News.
President Joe Biden is using his executive privilege to ban U.S. government agencies from using spyware operationally. The executive order targets tools deemed to be a threat to national security or implicated in human rights abuse. It comes as a bipartisan group of U.S. lawmakers call for international coalition aimed at combating spyware. It can threaten American diplomats, and about a dozen State Department employees' phones were hacked in 2021. The human rights concerns come from the ability of the governments using hacking to suppress opposing voices. Twitter has acknowledged through a legal filing yesterday that a part of its source code has been leaked online. Source code is the computer code that runs the social media site. First reported by the New York Times, the legal document filed by Twitter asked the website GitHub to take down the code that someone had posted. Twitter has also asked the site to identify who published this code on the giant online software coding community. How a 17-year-old boy was able to open not one, but 2 coffee shops before even graduating high school. The young man working behind the counter at a pair of coffee shops in Scottsdale, Arizona is not only a barista. Fox Irene Snyder reports.
Dylan Capshaw spends his mornings prepping the coffee and laying out fresh flowers. For the 17-year-old, this isn't just a part-time gig. He's the owner of not one, but 2 STEMistry locations.
It's always fun seeing people's reactions. Sometimes I'll be behind bar taking orders or making drinks, and they'll ask to speak to an owner or a manager if they're in, and I'll be the only one in there. So when I tell people I'm the owner, they definitely get a little surprised.
It all started during the pandemic in 2020, when he, like so many other kids around the world, were kept home from school.
I started shipping flowers out from my backyard online, and I did that for 2 years and saved up enough money to open up a brick and mortar.
Fresh flowers and a fresh idea for his business, a flower bar and a coffee shop.
So we have really unique coffee drinks, and we also have a really unique flower system, so people can come in and create their own arrangements. They can grab a clipboard and a bucket. Everything's for sale by the stem.
A small bouquet comes with every in-house order. The coffee flavors, also an ode to the floral theme.
We have some awesome coffee drinks that include flowers in them and some really unique menu items that you won't find anywhere else.
Dylan's first location in North Scottsdale opened last year. His second shop in Heritage Square opened today. While he may be a tad younger than most business owners, Dylan says there's nothing stopping him from chasing his dreams.
I mean, I've always wanted to have something kind of cool like this unique coffee shop, so I figured why wait? You know, I saved up enough money and there's nothing holding me back, so I think it was really cool to get to open that up young and get started early.
That's our time for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We'll leave you with a video of a baby bongo at a Polish zoo. Be safe. We're doing this all again tomorrow. See you then.